lawn and landscape really ought to be at the bottom of the list. I don't know if y'all remember, but the city of FAR made it illegal a few years ago to water your lawn. City of McAllen had a water cop, and you could water on certain days if you lived on one side of the street, and you could water on other days if you lived on the south side. These kind of drought situations are going to continue. This is not just, a once in a 25-year event, as we're finding out right now. And the number one use for water really ought to be, what do we need for our personal use? And of course, fire safety, food. And the last thing should be lawn and landscape, not the first thing. And in any part of Texas, 62 to 65% of all the water being used, especially in the summer, is being put on lawns. We really have to remember that in our area, in a good year, 23 inches of rain. And of course, we're not going to make that for '09 unless we just have a bunch of big gushers soon. For the year 2035, we are only going to have about 85% of the water that we need. So how do we support all these people? Our farms are being turned into subdivisions, and there are lots of folks moving into those houses, and they're using more water than plants used, than the crops used. So we're going to have to learn to conserve. We're going to have to reuse water. We passed a bill in Texas that allows for us to use gray water, what's called gray water. And we're going to have to find some new sources, desalination, whatever, in order to have enough water. But 782 billion gallons of water on landscapes is just too much. So we're going to have to get into water-wise landscaping, really thinking with that 2020 vision. The 7 principles of Xeriscape really are not only the most practical ways that you can approach landscaping, but they're going to become critically important to all of us as we get closer to that 2035 and running out of water. Planning and design, the water-hungry plants, keep them close to the house where you can water them with a hose, or you put a drip system in. Have a soil analysis. What is it that you actually need? Are you sitting on a bed of caliche? Do you have really rich organic soils? What's your situation? Everybody's situation is different. And of course, these new subdivisions, they don't even have soil. They have fiddle dirt. The right plants. Subtropical South Texas is semi-arid, not rainforest. So, and how much turf do we need? And of course, efficient irrigation and lots of mulch. And I'm not talking zero-scape. This is typical of a lot of homes in the Mission area where we have subdivisions for 55 and older. They just take out all the turf grass, put down plastic and white rock. Now that heats up the house a lot. The heat that is reflected off of that white rock not only cooks those plants and those plant roots, but it cooks that house pretty good too.